Yeah, if you're like me, you get tired sometimes of researching and looking up all this different information about fat loss or muscle gain or whatever. Today is basically what I'm talking about is fat loss, but you get tired of it, right? You just kind of get exhausted. The fact is that there's so much information out there. Sometimes it's really, really challenging to kind of figure out what's the best thing for you and what's the best thing in general. So I broke down 10 tips that could guarantee you fat loss in a blog on functionalmusclefitness.com. Tip 1, don't diet. What I mean by that is simply do not go on and off these yo-yo diets. It's not a good thing. It's about being and changing and having a lifestyle built around proper nutrition. Tip 2, source your food properly. Tip 3, protein is king. The number one flaw I see in people's nutrition is they do not eat enough protein. Typically what I recommend is a 1-to-1. Basically every pound of body weight that you are is a gram that you eat of protein. Doesn't necessarily work for some people who are like 300 pounds plus, but in general, that's the rule to follow, and make sure you get your protein in. It's the only way that you're gonna have a successful fat loss nutritional lifestyle. Tip 4, it's about macronutrient balance. I'm not gonna go into the specifics, but the number one thing I will say is anytime you eat a high carb meal, don't eat a high fat meal, right? So high carb, high fat don't typically go together, but protein should always be constant. 5, cook your own food. Everyone has actually heard about meal prep. That's the most important thing. Absolutely, no doubt. Tip 6, should come to no surprise for anyone, but reduce your sugar. And yes, I'm even talking about fructose. I'm not just talking about added sugar like candy bars and things like that, or drinks, sodas, Gatorade, stuff like that, which you should not be snacking on or drinking. I'm referring more to all of that, including fruit. Don't overeat fruit. So that's something that a lot of times people misunderstand. They think they could eat an endless amount of fruit. Well, number one, fructose gets processed in the liver by itself. That's it. So it goes down to the liver and the liver has to process it. If the liver is filled up, your cells are filled up in the liver, it kind of pushes the fat out. And think about when you think visceral fat or having a big belly, since your liver's down there anyways, it's just gonna push it into that localized area. So yes, and that also is a cirrhotic liver when you think of the non-alcoholic liver disease. So overall, we just wanna reduce sugar, specifically if you're thinking insulin levels, blood sugar balance, all of the above. Low calorie diets suck. Yes, they do, absolutely, 100%. So make sure you don't stay on something that's super low calorie all the time. If somebody has told you to go to 1,400, 1,200 calories, total calories in a day, they are absolutely out of their mind. It is okay if you're like, hey, we're gonna do this for a few weeks or you're gonna do this for a couple days. But when you start getting into the 6-week mark, you can expect a few things, but number one, expect some thyroid issues. Your body is going to adjust, adapt, and then it's going to be even harder for you to lose fat in the long run. So stay away from those low calorie diets. Tip 8, skip cereal. The worst thing you could do is eat cereal in the morning. Do not eat high carb, anything, high sugar, anything in the morning, especially breakfast. You've just gone through a fast since you've been sleeping. The best thing to do is actually just kind of have a regulated blood sugar. So what I would suggest is eating a higher fat meal and then having some good protein in there as well. So a steak is great or eggs are great. If you are going to eat sugar, if you feel like you need some piece of toast, it's better to eat your protein and fat first and then your carbs second. Tip 9, you avoid fats. Well, what kind of fats are you avoiding? We typically used to think, especially, that in order to be healthy or reduce fat, you would have low fat. And that's actually backwards. You want good, healthy fat, omega-3s, right? So we start thinking of some omega-6s are good too. But we start going down the list. Extra virgin olive oil, cold pressed, unfiltered, particularly not cooked, not heated. Avocado oil is good if you get the good kind. Avocados are good. You get ghee, right? Grass-fed butter, tallow, which is beef fat. All of those things are really, really good for you. MCT oil is good. You do want high quality fat. It is essential to not only just have proper hormone function, but to burn and lose fat as well. Tip 10, this is kind of a bonus tip. If you've done everything that I just listed in the first 9, you're probably moving yourself towards what's called metabolic flexibility. It's not that difficult to understand, but in general, and I'm gonna sum this up very, very brief and quick, whatever you are feeding your body is able to utilize as energy. And therefore, i.e., you can actually utilize it and burn fat. That is what basically metabolic flexibility is. Again, it can go further, but that's simple, right? So tip 10 is metabolic flexibility. Do all 9, and then you will actually have a better chance at becoming metabolically flexible, which is honestly the best way to stay lean and burn fat. Thank you for watching the video. You can check out more of the 10 tips and more information on each of the tips at functionalmusclefitness.com. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.